Oh, good morning, everybody. Sorry, I should have got this situated, but I just got back from running errands, so. Hello. Good, great morning. Man, I knew today was going to be a good day. And let me tell you guys why. So, she is trying to get logged on right now. The engineer that broke that article, and she's furloughed right now from work. I got in touch with her, and we've been talking all morning. You guys, tell me how we figured it out. For real. Like, I'm waiting for her to get on here because I am that excited. All right. Give her just a minute because she wasn't a part of the group, so she couldn't join our live right away, and I promised you guys I would be on at 9. We're still a couple minutes early, so. You guys, I'm so excited. Because, watch. This group is going to fix this. I'm telling you. We are. Okay, so she just joined. Okay, and this is Lauren Vanderheiden. Hopefully I pronounced her name correctly. Sorry guys, bear with me. Stay with me. She's coming, I'm sure. She's an engineer, so I'm sure she can figure out how to get on a live. All right. I am just waiting. Stay on, guys. You don't want to go anywhere, I promise. Okay. Guys, I'm so excited. Man, I had this whole live planned out for you guys today, and then bam, this happened. And I was like, that is too good to be true. Like, I called it. I was like, it's going to be a great day today. I posted that like a couple hours ago on here. Okay, so I will wait a few minutes. I will cover a couple of things that I wanted to talk about while she gets ready to jump on, because this was super last minute. Like, I asked her 7 minutes ago to jump on. So, and she wasn't even a part of the group. So bear with us for a minute. So for those of you that I haven't gotten to talk to before, my name is Renee Perigo. Some of you might recognize my name, and I got recognized at the post office today. It was crazy. And so I went on an 8-day long hunger strike outside of the Kansas Department of Labor, which has kind of pushed me in a whole new direction that I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. So also, while we're on here, if you guys are not getting requests that I'm going live, please make sure you're adding me as like a Facebook friend if you've changed your notification settings already and it's still not sending them to you. So just real quick for anybody that is just now jumping on, I have invited Lauren Vanderheiden to join us. She is the engineer that discovered that quirk with regular unemployment, with the debit cards and direct deposit thing. The news broke with the story yesterday. So I reached out to her, kind of asking some questions because I had a lot of information and knowledge that maybe she didn't. And just because it is hidden on the deepness of the interwebs. So, and I went through and started asking her about it today. And then you guys, it just fell right into place. It's awesome. There's a little more work to do. I'm probably still going to have to hunger strike, but now I know what I'm doing. Like, now I know exactly what I'm asking for. Like, forget everything else. I know exactly what I'm asking for. I wonder. Okay, maybe I'll try to ask her to come on. Maybe that'll be better. And I know she's supposed to talk to someone at 10, so we will try to make this fast. It is a Red Bull kind of day, let me tell you. And no, I didn't go to bed again last night. There it is. All right.
Hello. Good morning.
Haha. Hi.
It finally decided to work.
Yes, it did. Sorry. Okay, there we go. It cut the screen in half. So how are you today?
I'm surprised I'm a guy.
Yep, I am. I'm not going to lie. I want to put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Like, I didn't even think anything of it when you started talking about your wife. Like, it's...
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an early morning.
I'm the L-O-R-E-N instead of L-A-U.
Well, that makes sense. I'm sorry I didn't pick up on that. But hello, it's
no
nice
problem,
to finally meet you in person, not in person.
Yes, ma'am.
So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do for a living.
So my name is Lauren Vanderheiden. I'm an engineering program manager, and I've done program management, project management for over 25 years. And so I'm naturally in my wife called me a taskmaster, as kind of what was said on the news article. And that's true because I'm a data collector at times. So
right. Well,
but,
I mean,
I've been in Wichita all my life.
Yeah, something had to have sparked your interest with that.
Yeah, I mean, so where I was at, we had been on where I work. I was on a 1-day furlough since July.
Oh wow!
And of the 1-day furlough, basically, and it come out of as far as our paycheck goes, I'm not near as bad as some. Of course, there's always some that are worse, but it came out to about $1,000 a month.
Hey,
so once, oh yeah, especially when you're on a tight budget like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
With my salary being cut like that, I was fortunate enough. Yeah, I still had a job, so I was not complaining. And we knew that payments were trickling in and trickling in and trickling in, but I was getting frustrated like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started collecting data with my team, the engineers that work for me, and family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was collecting data, I was seeing that there was a disparity, especially after they said that they had fixed the website in January, because nobody received anything in January. Nobody, no family, no friends, nobody. Not state assistance or federal assistance. It just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second week of February, they sent some payments. And then the third week of February sent some payments, and then completely stopped again.
Okay.
So then I said, I'm gonna take my data and call the news. And
Well,
here we
there you
go.
go. And that's how I came
And
across you.
yeah, and then they took my data and validated it, and to come to find out, what the state had done is, okay, back up a week. So then, coincidentally, if you want to call it a coincidence, I'm finding out that it's not. We were not like anybody else. We can't. Our HR, the company, tried to make it easy on kdol, and they would file everybody in Excel spreadsheet. So
Right.
they would send it over, make it easy to where each individual person didn't have to go on the website and file. That still didn't matter. It still didn't get processed.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah. So what we did is as my story aired the very next day, as I compared to people that were direct. So what made it a story for the news is that Governor Kelly had pushed everybody to go to direct deposit. He
Mm-hmm.
wanted everybody to go direct deposit. It was more consistent. They would get their payments easier, and they wouldn't on the debit card. And that was totally the opposite.
Eek.
So everybody, it's like, it was like about 90% of the 60 people that I had been talking to had been receiving payments of some kind, or payments like clockwork, that had a debit card.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that were direct deposit were getting nothing.
Oh
So it
wow.
was just the opposite. So that's what made it one part of the story for KWCH. And then, so once the story aired, the following day, our HR received a letter saying that the program that we were in ended on 2/6. So mind you,
Oh.
on the 16th, we received a letter saying that the unemployment, or the federal assistance program that we were on, had ended. Not the state, the federal.
Oh wow.
Because we weren't receiving state either. So
Okay.
now you got a whole group of people that received, all of a sudden, were receiving no payment at all,
Mm-hmm.
because the program had ended that we didn't even know about. Because the last
Wow.
time when the program switched, you just went on their website and clicked a link, and that enrolled you into the new program.
Right. Like,
This time,
you mean like the new benefit year or the new program?
the new program. This was before the benefit year,
Oh wow.
because that was between the stimulus packages.
Mm-hmm.
So we automatically rolled into President Trump's stimulus package, but you had to go verify.
Right.
We even had one person in our group, that's an elderly gentleman, that's on the debit card, receive a letter saying he was fraudulent when he's not fraudulent, and he was being paid regularly. So go figure.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh
he's fraudulent. If you're fraudulent, it should normally stop because they think you're fraudulent. But he was being paid $400 a week, the $100 plus the $300 federal, regularly. So
wow.
so that's what just infuriated a lot of us. So
Yeah.
as I started digging into this, Channel 12 made sure that I wasn't. I talked to her a week ago Friday, and she made sure that I wasn't talking to any other news outlets, because they wanted the story, of course. And then they used the weekend to validate my information and calling people that they had previously interviewed, and found out that I was onto something.
Hmm.
And then as soon as I'm onto something, all of a sudden, oh, the program ended. That's why you're not paid. Okay, well, for federal, I would say, okay, if the program ended, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But why didn't you send a letter to the companies weeks prior? Because the bigger picture here is everybody that's unionized, like the aircraft manufacturing plants and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
it all stopped for them too. So unless they were receiving back payments. So
Wow.
they don't even know as well. Most of them probably don't, that it stopped like that.
Huh.
And now for the new program, like you and I had talked, of the antiquated systems, that they don't know how to talk.
Right.
So
So that's what I want to jump into next, because that's where this highlights. Because I've been at this all day every day for 3 weeks, and I do
man,
happen to have a wealth of knowledge, including how to set up multi-factor authentication on my own, which who would have thought I would ever know how to do that.
well, and all they did for their website, like my wife, she hires developers, she hires
Right.
coders, that's her job.
Yeah.
And basically all they did is put lipstick on a pig. is basically what they did. They just built a facade on the front of a building.
Yeah.
Because if you try to use their website, as many people knows, it sends you back through the old website and then sends you back to the new website.
Yeah.
So that was to further a little bit more. A lot of the guys were like, well, I'm going to try to switch to a debit card. You couldn't. There was no way to do it. There was no way to talk to nobody, as everybody knows.
Right.
You couldn't use the website to do it.
Right.
So you couldn't even switch something to try to get paid.
Dang.
So, but anyway, if you go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Hey, I'll take all the knowledge in the world. Like, if you have something to teach me, I'll take it. So, okay, so I know that one of the things that I actually brought to your attention this morning was that kdol, tell me if I'm saying this correctly, they write their programs in pretty much a language called kdol vsam. Is that right?
Yeah, the kdol came out, from what I'm understanding, is kdol originally came out in 1970.
Okay. So how do you think that now, being 51 years later, like, how do you think that's affecting now in trying to implement the new CARES Acts?
So when the federal government is talking to the state and sending money to the state, the systems can't talk. So when the systems can't talk, then that's why you get messages on their page saying that they're in contact with the government to try to get further clarification. The further clarification is Kansas's problem. It's not the federal government's problem. It's
Right.
because, like everybody says, we didn't keep our equipment up to date. And I do know for a fact, I think it was 2008 or 2010, that the state had received new hardware to do some of this, but because of kdol, they couldn't update the hardware, so they gave it all the way to K-State. They donated all the hardware to K-State.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So instead of just getting a new software
and start working on it, then they just said, well, it's barely working, but it's working, so we're not going to try to fix it and make it better. We're just going to give the hardware away and write it off. So, and when I talked to Caroline at Channel 12, she's aware of that. She already knew that.
Right. So, okay. So when it comes to writing, so what is that classified as, the kdol vsam thing?
So the kdol vsam is coding, basically. It's
okay.
It's it's just how
like
the systems talk to each other. Yeah, program language. Yeah.
Okay.
And right now, like we had spoke, so my wife reached out to a couple people while I was waiting to talk with you, and she found out that that it's so old. It's almost a specialized trade as far as a developer to even know how to do that. And there are several openings on the kdol's website for that type of person.
Right. You said you looked that up this morning.
Yeah, and she also looked into salary ranges, and so developers as a whole are in very high demand.
Right.
Have been for a while, hard to fill. My wife's company has developers open as jobs as well, and it's easily a six-figure salary. So, and what kdol is offering is a baseline salary. You're not going to get, what you need is guys that have been in the business programming for a very long time, that even have any type of knowledge to be able to do this, to be able to convert the language. So that's why when you and I were talking and the pieces were falling together, and she went out and checked their website, and she goes, that's exactly the jobs that they're asking to try to fill.
Yeah.
And they have been for quite a while, but they're just not telling anybody that.
Right.
They're telling everybody they got it all under control. And that's the
problem. If kdol, like, this is so severe. Like, I don't know if you know, but there are almost 60, just that's been reported to me, people who have either like attempted, threatened, or actually committed suicide because they've just lost everything.
Yeah, they've lost all hope. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay. So I want to make sure that I understand this 1000%. If we find a developer that knows how to write in the program language of that COBOL vSAM.
Yeah, it would be a conversion from COBOL vSAM to today's technology, so Java or even later technologies. So, and it depends on what, and it also depends on, we'd have to know what kdol has chosen as their new software. Because see, they said last weekend that they updated the servers again.
Right. That was the server
So
migration is what they called it.
yeah,
So can
yeah.
you explain
So
that to me a little bit?
well, they're in the process of trying to convert the data to the new servers in a language in a relative language. So they're trying to take the kdol over, or the language over, to the new servers. But in order to populate those servers, you got to be able to translate the COBOL over. So the data on the servers, the servers are just going to sit there until they have someone that can convert the data over.
Right.
And you're talking in millions and millions and millions of records.
So they would not only have to transfer over all of the new stuff that's behind, but they have to transfer the entire system to the new one.
Correct. Correct.
So what would be the harm in, I guess, essentially starting over instead of trying to convert all of that?
Yeah, I don't know if I have the answer to that.
You don't
My
know?
wife may know that better, but I don't know. I don't really
No,
have
that's
the answer
okay.
to starting over. But I mean, as far as drawing, I guess if they, my take on that is that they were going to do that, they should have already started that at the start of the new year when people had to, refile and stuff like that. Because the problem with
Exactly.
starting over also would mean you'd have to convert people that are on current unemployment, that are currently receiving benefits. So you couldn't just draw a line in the sand.
Right.
And because then some people that are receiving benefits, theirs would stop as well. But if you could
Wow.
draw a line in the sand and convert people over into the new system,
Mm-hmm.
that would be good. But like I say, that goes into the website, which, like you say, it's a facade basically.
So that's really interesting to me because our new acting secretary for the Department of Labor, and I'm sure she'll get voted in because she is very intelligent. She's a
Mm-hmm.
technology person like yourself, um, and I'm not wondering if she knows how to do that. So I'm curious to look up her education history and see. But she is also very young, so I doubt.
So there's when I was talking to my wife when we were talking about that, it's not even the COBOL conversion, or COBOL itself isn't even taught at WSU anymore. She said a few years ago it was taught because Catch and some other government agencies, go figure, were on COBOL as well still.
Do you remember the last year that WSU taught that?
No, we'd probably have to do some research to try to find out.
I
But
will absolutely do that because if I can find like the last person that taught that, I will hunt them down.
yeah, because the problem that we're going to run into is, like you say, is finding. It's going to be baby boomers, guys that are 50, my age, 60, that have been in that type of technology
Mm-hmm.
from way back when, to even know how to convert it. And then they would have had to have kept their skills up during this time to be able to know how to convert.
It's got to be out there. There are so many people in the world. Like it has to be out there. Now, do you think that if kdol was offering a better salary, that it would be easier to find someone to fill that?
It would be easier, but it's still going to be a struggle because it's a very high demand, and those guys are, within reason, are naming their price. I mean, they basically do contracts, so they'd go from contract to contract and do it from their home
Right.
and
So,
stuff like that.
so do
But
you
it'd have to
think
be
the
a pretty
guy
good
that
package.
invented the Tesla knows how to do this? What is his name? Elon Musk?
Elon Musk. Oh, I'm sure, probably.
All right. Well, what you're telling me is I need to get in contact with Bill Gates and Elon Musk. Not only for the money, but for the help, because surely they have to have someone on their team that knows how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think that there would be somebody out there, but like I say, it's not lucrative. It's not new technology. It's people are interested in that kind of stuff, and that's almost like you say, you have to wow the person to draw them in to the company, and a lot of people that don't want to take the heat with the state when they can go somewhere else and make probably double what they're offering all day long. Because when my wife recruits, she recruits for Chicago and everything else as well, which is a very difficult market for developers. So that's the problem, and that's why they got the job openings. But this is the stuff that people need to know and understand,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
that needs to be out in the open,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what kdol is not sharing. Because like you say, if you call their website, they blame it on the federal government. If you call the unemployment line right now, they tell you that the new federal assistance, whatever acronym they're giving it now, is not being paid yet,
Mm-hmm.
because they're waiting for direction from the federal government. And it's not direction from the federal government. It's that the two systems can't talk because ours is so antiquated. I mean,
Okay.
that's what I found out to be the truth.
Okay. Well, I happen to know another tech guy who runs a very large Facebook group full of other tech guys. Like I'm
Yep.
determined. Like I don't know if you have followed along with my story at all, but when I set my mind to something, it's not something I give up on. So
Awesome.
I don't know if you would mind even reaching out to your contacts, or if there's anybody you have that might be willing to talk to me. And like, is there a special Craigslist for tech gods
I'm sure
that I
there's
that
many
I can
blogs. I mean,
that I can get on?
I have my wife tried to reach out to one of the guys today, but he's out. So when he's back in the office, she's just going to pick his brain a little bit, and then I should
Okay.
have some information for you.
Oh, that would be
But
wonderful. And in the
so
meantime,
we'll see what we can find out. She's actually has a guy that works for her now that's been at the company for like 8 years, and he used to work for kdol, and that's why he left.
oh
And that
no.
was about 8 years ago.
Oh, sweet baby love. Okay,
So
well, hey, any knowledge is power. So
yep,
whatever
exactly.
whatever you find, please send it my way. Because so just to kind of let you know, and I think I already told you, because I know I misworded my question and made it sound like, hey, do you want a hunger strike with me? And I didn't mean for it to. I really didn't, because
No, I
I would
understand.
never
No
ask
worries.
anyone to. So so I need to go on a hunger strike to get Bill Gates and Elon Musk's attention. I know that sounds insane, but I'm completely serious. Or to get the attention of someone that knows how to come and help, and then also force kdol's hand in paying them what they're worth.
Yeah, I mean that's that. I hate to see you have to do that, but I
No,
mean I know
hey,
that
to keep,
your last hunger strike I know got a lot of media attention, but
yeah,
it only lasts for such a short period of time. So
and it does ish. Now I learned so much, not only during that hunger strike, but since I've been home, that I know how to plan. Like, I have been planning this for weeks. I know who to talk to, what to say, I'm just all of it. um
yep.
so I think if I did it this time, I think I'd have a pretty good chance, because I've been like, this entire time people have doubted me, and I'm telling you, like, I'm so determined to find this. I know I will. So
I know if you reach out before, and let them, and let like Caroline at Channel 12 News, know that you're going to do this. I know that 12 reports about it every day, religiously, almost every day at 6 o'clock, sometimes at 10 on the news.
Okay.
Because that's what's going to, articles and stuff are great if people are searching the web to find out what's going on with Kansas, but nothing beats an interview, a live interview on
Yeah,
Zooms.
exactly. Okay. Well,
So,
I can be pretty persuasive. So, um, that is my
and she's
task.
very sweet. I mean, she came into my living room, as you saw if you watched the video. I mean, she's a very sweet person, and she's out for all of us. So she wants, and that's why I said, I mean, it's not
Who is?
self-preservation. Caroline,
Oh, okay,
Caroline at
right.
the
Mm-hmm.
Channel 12 News. Yeah, she came to me and everything else. So she's a very sweet person,
Oh.
and I know that she seems to be would be really digging in on what's going on. I haven't watched KSN as much, and stuff like that. They may be digging. I'm sure they're all digging into it, but it just doesn't seem to be. It's what's frustrating is, and I can see why people are losing hope, that there is no hope in sight,
Mm-hmm.
because that is one of the biggest things that people are worried about, other than COVID for our state, and they don't talk about it. You don't see Governor Kelly talking about it daily like she should be. The reason that is because they don't have anything new to tell nobody.
Ah,
See, COVID brings constant data every day, but it's not data that she's having to collect herself. It's data that's being provided to her so she can talk about it.
wow.
So, the our kdol should be on there every day, just like the doctors are standing next to her.
Right.
And there should be she has that window for her news conference that she does every day that all three media outlets cover. And we need the reporters in there to talk more than just COVID, in
Wow.
my opinion, because that's the questions you hear asked. You don't hear anything about what's going on at kdol.
Mm-hmm.
You're not hearing how come the new program's not being implemented. What's the holdup?
Right.
Because everybody's benefits that were on the previous plan stopped on 2/6,
Mm-hmm.
unless they're getting, and if they're still receiving payments, we're told that's back payments. It's not because the plan is going on.
Hmm.
So it will stop
Alrighty then.
until the new plan is instituted, and which is the 1.9 trillion, the new one that Biden did. Until that is implemented, it will stop. So yeah, very frustrating.
I mean, yeah, it is frustrating, but I'm glad that at least you and I were able to put two and two together, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. So if you do get the chance to talk to any news people today, would you mind mentioning like what we figured out? Because what I would really, so here's my goal. If I could get everyone that is still awaiting payments on one page, like a Facebook group, and we can figure out like, I mean, obviously it's the computer system, we know that, but just to keep everybody updated with the truth, because kdol
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do that. Because I feel like if we were able to at least get the truth out there, that kdol wouldn't be able to give any more false hope and keep putting these families in the positions of false promises being broken and then continuing to lose everything because it's not right.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's why I started keeping my own Excel spreadsheet along with several friends and family, because to find out, most people don't know what's even back owed, because when you get chunks of money here, a little bit there, a chunk of money there, how do you know that they've met their how they met their requirement to you?
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
basically, like they ended ours, and I got guys that I know that are owed $1,600 that are getting nothing
Yeah. um I actually went
from
through
the
and
last
added
plan. I
up.
mean, I know people. Yeah, I mean, there's people I'm sure that are owed thousands and thousands of dollars, but
Yeah.
just
um
and this is just of the last plan.
yeah,
So
and see, like, I haven't been paid since October. My husband hasn't been paid since the beginning of January either, and combined we're owed, I think now
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think
20 grand. It's
the
ridiculous.
last one that ended, I think, was PEUC, is what it was called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot
That
of
was the
people
last
don't
one
know
that
that
ended.
the March 13th was the last day for that.
Yeah, and see, they told us ours ended on February 6th. So what's that?
No, hold on just a second. So,
I know, no, don't get me wrong. You're right on the 13th because that's even what their website said, or even their automated system said. But the letter we got said that our program ended on February 6th. We were all
are
part of the same programs.
are you sure it didn't say that your benefits did it say that your benefits exhausted, or did it say that
Nope,
your program ended?
our program ended. It said that the Department of Labor shared work program, the shared work program benefits have been exhausted, which is PPP. So in other words, they haven't. If the Biden plan would have been implemented like it was supposed to be, then people would have just carried over
Mm,
because our company was still filing claims. And then all of a sudden I went on the news saying, okay, well, the claims aren't being paid. And then they come out and say, oh, well, 2/6, it was canceled.
mm,
Even our HR lady was just furious and screaming at them
eek. So,
because she knew
if
she knew
that if
all these people were people.
would you
Go ahead.
mind redacting the personal information off that, or like covering it up with like a sticky note or a piece of paper and sending that to me, like just a picture of it?
Yeah, I could probably copy and paste. Yeah, the top of it
Yeah, that would
because
be
it talks
awesome.
about and give you some of the information because it says that we were on a 26-week program, so it's the one
Mm-hmm.
that started at the beginning of the year
Right.
and actually started. I think it started in August, and
Mm-hmm.
that program had ended. The last time that I had looked in and was able to see any benefits,
Mm-hmm.
my personal benefits besides federal, just my individual benefits, it was like 12 or $15,000 is what was in the account, and they weren't even. And the point that I'm getting to is they weren't even paying the state unemployment. That's in regards to the federal.
Wow. So it, so I'm not understanding, like, if their system is so behind, like, is it really gonna take putting in all of these claims manually to push them through? Or because there are a lot of people out there getting paid, but there are more people not getting paid than there are getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, my wife was also part of the fraud. I mean, there was the fraud that took whatever 600 million of the state's money.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thought that speaking about that, that's another thought that um, came to came to pass is that they don't have any money left. That they don't have the money because
So
the 600 million was lost. That they could have taken or asked for permission to move that money because it's the state's money
mm-hmm.
that was given to them by the federal government, that they could take the money if there was money in the other programs
Right.
to over to a program to keep payments going. Then they're not even doing that.
Yeah. So I guess there's a couple of options, but I think it's time for Governor Kelly to quit ignoring it, hands down. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
why why
she
are
needs
we
to be called to the carpet.
yeah, like why are we not calling all of the technology gods? Like, please come and help us. There are thousands of lives at stake. Like, it's not just a computer. They're human lives that are at stake. That's my biggest problem, and that's my biggest drive. So,
Yep.
all right, guys. Well, don't worry about voting because Hunger Strike 2.0 is coming. And I think that that's going to start on Monday. Because if it made or not international, it made national news by day 6. So I
hmm
know for sure if I stay out when I stay out there longer than that, there is no way I won't get someone's attention that's willing to help even if it's not Bill Gates, because that would be really freaking cool,
Yeah, that
regardless
would
of
be
all the
cool if you
crap
could
people
get
say about him.
somebody that has a lot of clout that's beyond our governor.
Right.
That's outside of Kansas politics.
Right.
Because you don't hear Jerry Moran or any of them talking about it. I mean, I've sent several emails to Jerry Moran. They do respond, and but it's pretty much the same story. You know, they're working on it. They're doing everything they can do. Well, we don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell us or give us the information that you are working on it, and show us that you're trying to do everything you can
But
do.
she won't, because
And if
I genuinely don't think that they even know. I
well,
really
yeah,
don't.
and if they would air that what the problem is, they
Yeah.
may have guys come to them. They may
Right.
have
And
people
then
come to
how
them
many
saying, "I
lives
can
are
help
at
fix
stake?
this."
There's no,
Yeah.
like, that's the thing. That's what I keep trying to drill into these politicians' heads is, I understand you don't have money. Let's say the state's completely broke, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
push a story that says, hey, there are 260,000 lives depending on this program being fixed, we need help, and we need help right now. I guarantee you there are so many people out there that would come to that call for action. And I know it. Like, I know it. Like, I'm getting goosebumps because I know it. And
Yeah.
speak it into existence, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they would just be honest and say, "Look, this is the problem that we're having,"
Right.
they would probably be surprised how many people might call and say, "I can convert that. I can." I have, like you were saying, going to the tech websites. I have people. I don't know who their recruiters are, if they hire a recruiting agency
Mm-hmm.
to try to hire their jobs or not. But I know if my wife has openings like that, she's called to the carpet if they're not filled. And usually, even her jobs take an average of 6 to 9 months to be filled. Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, because the market is that competitive. They aren't looking to leave.
See, and what leads me to believe that everybody in that state house knows what's happening, because do you know how many times I was told by someone that works within the state house that this is going to take 6 or more months? Word
Yep.
for word, 6 or more
Yep.
months. But
Yeah, it takes
why
six to
would you
six, six
not?
to 9 months just to get somebody hired, and they're not even looking there. And most of them aren't even going to look because they have jobs. They have 6-figure plus jobs.
Yeah, and what
Why
are
are
they
they going to
offering?
come for a 5-figure job?
What is kdol offering?
Yep. From what the average, you can go like to Glassdoor and places like that and see what the average for the state developer, and the information that I have is they're offering in the 80s.
They're offering in the 80s,
And that's
like
high.
80,000 a year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And that's high for them.
okay, so in your opinion, how much should kdol be offering for expertise like that?
Well, I'd have to ask my wife to be completely accurate, but I would guess from the knowledge of her and what she's hired for, probably in the 125 to 150 range. Because you got to remember, it's not just going in and saying, "Hey, I need you to do some development work and some coding for me." It's a specialized coding, so it's like having a special certification to be able to convert COBOL to today's technology, or COBOL to whatever software that the kdol has decided to move to, because we don't know what software they decided to move to.
Okay.
At least I don't.
Okay, so
So
if I,
that would be the other piece of the puzzle. That would be nice to know, because then you can narrow down. Okay, I need someone that can help me switch COBOL to Java, COBOL to whatever.
mm-hmm.
So whatever software they're using, and help convert it,
And that's
because they can write.
JavaScript, right? Am I thinking about the right
Yeah.
thing? Ah,
Yeah.
see, reading gets you places.
Yeah. But and it could even be a newer technology than that. I don't know, but
Well,
because
I
JavaScript's been
bet you
around
I'm
a
gonna
long
find
time.
out.
Yep, that'd be interesting, because if you find that out, then I can give it to my wife too, and she can see what she knows.
That's what I'm talking about. Awesome. Well, I think I just might do that then, and I am going to be. Oh man, I'm so mad at so many things right now, but I'm also so determined and excited because this is progress. And
Yeah, it's connecting some dots. Yep.
yeah, like this is incredible. Ah, awesome. Well, okay, so one last question, and I will let you go because I know your time is super valuable. Um, so if I were to call a recruiter like your wife is, like say I was an employer and I needed to
Hmm.
hire this guy, how would I ask in the correct terminology for what I need?
So you would need to say, in my opinion, you would need to say their quest needs to be, I need a software developer
Okay.
that can convert COBOL to whatever the state is moving to. And you can go like I would just for instance, once you find out what the state is going to for software, then you can just like uh, Google like IT recruiters, right? And then find like a contract, which would be a headhunting house,
Okay.
that cold calls developers and say, hey, I got a job. I can beat your benefits. Won't you come over here for 6 months? That kind of thing. So you'd
Right.
want to find you'd want to find a recruiting agency that headhunts software developers.
Oh, I'm going to be my own recruiting agency. Better believe that. Like, I'm extremely resourceful, so I will I'll be getting into that. One other question. I'm so sorry, but I forgot
That's
I
right.
wrote this down. So, do you know what an auto dialer is?
Yes.
That was a really dumb question. I did not mean to insult your intelligence. So,
Oh, no problem.
okay,
So that's what they try to use as an excuse for clogging up their phone lines.
right. So, does it really in your
No,
engineering?
it does not. It does not clog up your phone lines because I've done my own calling in like 15 minutes before, 5 minutes before, 3 minutes before, and and then as soon as the clock strikes 8 o'clock, the queue's full, and that's it.
Wow.
So there's also been other people on the news that have religiously called, and I've even used the bot. So they have a bot that says, like that'll send you text messages, and it walks you in circles, spins you in circles, tells you to go to certain places, provides you links. Those links go in circles
Yeah.
and basically get you nowhere. And then in the end, it tells you to call kdol, which you can't call
Yeah. Right. So it's like they're sending people on a goose chase because
for
they know
hours.
they can't fix it right
Yep.
now. I
Yep.
will. I'll fix it. Not myself because I'm not a computer genius. I happen to know another one that could probably know someone that does. I bet you he
Yep.
does. And if he doesn't, well, it's game time and it's hunger strike time. Like, because that's how vital this is. And this is how
Oh
much
yeah.
this means to me, is because I have promised the people of Kansas that no matter what it takes, I will fix this one way or the other. So,
Yeah.
and I don't break my
I mean,
promises.
I am blessed enough that the company that I work for is family owned.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have a huge amount of employees, but they take very good care of the employees because they could have laid us off as well. And so what they did when they found out that kdol had stopped the program on the 6th of this month,
Mm-hmm.
and we found this out on Tuesday, which was the 16th, that they'd actually stopped the program on the 6th.
Mm,
Um, we're out that money. So we're out that money from the company, and that's not their fault. That's kdol's fault.
yeah.
But they did allow us to go back to 40 hours a week, um, and until we find out what the new plan is doing. And because they're like any other company, they're struggling.
Well, of
And then when the
course.
new program starts back up, they'll probably try to go back on the new program, but they want to also take care of their employees. So they're even scared to even put us on the new program because we didn't get the last one paid out. So,
All right.
and
Well,
that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. The news really hasn't caught, and if they have, they're not talking about, they haven't caught the full picture of this 26 weeks running out on 2/6, because it's the unions, it's the aircraft companies, it's people like that that don't know that their program just stopped on 2/6, because the kdol didn't send anything. Though they should, typically you would receive something at least a week or 2 weeks in advance to let the company know, hey, the program that you're on is going to stop on such date, so you can know what to do with your employees that are on furlough. And they didn't, and they did no such thing. They sent it 2 weeks after the program was canceled.
oh my God.
And like I say, subsequently to my interview being on the news as to why we weren't being paid, and debit cards were and credit cards weren't. And like I say, the kicker for me is when they send you a letter that you're fraudulent, like they did to one of my employees, and he's still receiving money like clockwork, 400 every week just on his debit card. But he's supposedly fraudulent to the state, even though he is not. But they still sent him a letter saying they thought he was, but he's still receiving money. I mean, I'm glad he was still receiving money, because it's a false claim that he's fraudulent, but technically you would think it would stop and he'd have to prove something.
So there's just no rhyme or reason to their system right now. It's just kicking
There,
out goose feathers. Like,
there's no accountability at all. It's like my wife said. So each program that we've all been a part of, PEUA, PEUC, the first one, PPP, whatever you want to call them, that they're all their acronyms. So it's like, this would be the fourth program. Where's the accountability for each program, and how many claims were not paid, and which people were not paid individually? There's no audit. There's no accountability. Even if we get this fixed going forward, which would be a huge blessing with what you're trying to do, and I will do whatever I can with what I find out to help you, but
right. And I
it still
appreciate that.
doesn't, it still doesn't, if they draw a line in the sand and say, okay, we figured it out, we're going to start paying out the Biden plan, whatever their acronym is going to be for that plan, then what about the back money that everybody's owed, that hasn't received a dime, that are owed 20 plus $1,000 in unemployment, that haven't received a dime? What about, how are you going to pay that out? Because again, you have to convert that information. If you draw a line in the sand going forward and say, okay, we can start with the Biden plan, you still got to convert all that old data and data that hasn't been paid out and claims that haven't been paid out to whatever the new system is. So even if they draw a line in the sand, that would give some people some relief, but not the chunk that they need to catch up on a year's worth of house payments.
So,
So it's like, it's twofold.
being as, I don't want to say simple minded, but compared to you, I am, with technology, because like, maybe my philosophy is great, because when technology doesn't work for me, I throw it away and replace it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Kansas didn't.
Um,
Kansas did not do that. All they did is keep putting band-aids on it till it
so,
broke.
okay, so here's my question. If right now, say that right now we got $50 million out of the new stimulus package, and we went and got a whole new software, all new computers, the everything that talks to each other, can, like, is there like a, can somebody just write a new system? Would it, okay, hold on, would it take less time for somebody to write a new system, like a software to process these claims, starting with just the new CARES Act, and then almost essentially run that like simultaneously? Like, keep the old computer system to catch up all the way to CARES Act 2, while simultaneously setting up for 3, work both, and then when the old one gets done, toss it out and continue on, and then worry later about transitioning all that data over to the new system. Is that possible?
I would think so, but that would take somebody that's a little bit more knowledgeable of the systems than I am. But I mean, in my thought process and from what I know, I would say yeah.
Man,
I would
see,
agree with what you just said. The the issue is another issue that's part of this is in each CARES Act, from what I've understand and from emails that guys have gotten that talking to the state legislature people and your representatives and stuff like that, there's been money in each CARES package for the states to upgrade their systems.
yeah. So, okay,
Because Kansas, in the Biden Act, Kansas got 1.4 billion. If I understand what I heard right on Fox News, Kansas got 1.4 billion, and 100, little over 100 million was just going to Sedgwick County.
I have many things to say about Governor Kelly's
Oh yeah, me too.
handling of her funds because, like, when I tell you I've done research, okay, so I have gotten to know you a little bit, but so let me tell you what I do for a living. I own a business where I started it in January actually, and I don't know if you can see it behind me, but
Oh, okay.
I curate and hunt down first edition, first print Harry Potter books. I'm a super Harry Potter nerd, like my glasses and all. I know it's silly, right? But you would not believe how good I have gotten at picking up little breadcrumbs and running with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's what
It's
I do.
always in what people say, how they say it, and their body language when they say it.
Yes, absolutely. I have. So this is the stuff I have just on her budget for this year. Where those funds
Man,
have went. Are you good on an Excel sheet at all?
yeah.
Oh, see, I need to pick your brain like on a Zoom meeting if you're not busy, or bring you this and say, hey, help me figure out where all of our money went so I can use it against her. That would be great.
That's an auditor. That's an auditor, not an Excel person.
Hey, I am gonna turn myself into whatever I need to be to figure this out. Like I have so I even went as far as to take my business that I registered back in January with the IRS and use that to sign up for an administrator account for OKTA
Cool.
and read all of their administrator settings. And I'm like, so
Holy cow.
it is a 6-button process to reset somebody who's been flagged for fraud. 6 buttons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why not open up a hotline? Make them verify
Oh, they
it while
do,
you're
but
on the phone.
they do have a queue at kdol, but when you hit it, it says the queue's full and hangs up on you. They do have a hotline. They have a button on kdol's call in to report fraud. But it does the same thing. Queue's full.
Wow. I am just like, I could probably talk to you all day and we would probably come up with so much stuff. It's unreal.
Yeah, I think I have my call with Peggy in about 4 minutes, so I'll be careful. So
But we can I'm going to take that 4 minutes and ask you to actually call me on a personal call.
okay.
If that's okay. All right, I am going to send you my number. Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this live feed. I will be back in a few minutes to update you guys on everything else I have found out between last night and this morning. And now what I plan on for sure doing about kdol. So make sure to start sharing people to this page because it's going to blow up, guys. It's getting serious now. So.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.